We are on to week 6 in the National Football League, and we don't have any more unbeaten teams. Earliest everyone has suffered a loss in 11 years. Got a couple teams on byes this week, the Vikings and the Texans. We have another London game, Broncos and Jets, and another Monday double dipper. And we're going to pick them with Kyle Long and Pete Prisco, who have had back-to-back winning weeks. Pete now 9 games over 500. Kyle working his way back to 500.
By the way, that record should have been a little better. I had Arizona in that, and there's no reason they didn't cover that game. Not only did they not cover it, they didn't.
Would you have also hit DeMercado after he dropped the ball before the end zone?
No, I would not have hit.
Wouldn't it? I think you would have done worse.
No, I might have grabbed him by the face mask or something.
You would have done worse.
Jonathan Gannon shows up to the press conference with a black eye, and he's like, "I'm really sorry about what I did yesterday."
It makes him look bad by the coach to do that there, though. I thought.
No good.
I don't think he should have done that.
Well, they certainly blew that game, and they play once again this week. We will pick the Cardinals game in just a little bit, but we start with one of those teams that was unbeaten going into last week and lost at home as a favorite, the Philadelphia Eagles. A short week now, and Saquon Barkley sounds like he's a little bit banged up. They only gave him 6 carries last week. Saquon and the Eagles 7.5-point favorites. Divisional game here. That's a lot of points for a divisional rivalry game. What do you think?
It is a lot of points, but if you look at the Eagles, I don't think we've seen the best of the Eagles yet. Not even
I would
close.
hope not. They've been outgained every game.
Not even close. And part of the reason is they don't get the ball to Barkley. You mentioned it. 6 carries last week. What's the identity of this Eagles team? It's to run the ball with Barkley. Play behind that offensive line. Now, the offensive line hasn't been as good. That's been part of the problem. But how do you know how good they are in the run game when he only gets 6 carries? I think that changes. He goes back to New York, plays his former team. I think they give him a lot of carries. I think they run the ball, and I think they find a way to win this game. By the way, the Giants, for all the talk of that vaunted pass rush and how they add Abdul Carter and
no
to that
sacks.
Group, nothing. 0.
300 yards again.
0. They got to be better on defense. I don't think they will in this game. I'll take the Eagles.
Not so fast,
my
friend.
Wow.
Not so fast, my friend. 7.5 is a big number.
You stole that, by the way.
Well, of course they're retired, so technically
7.5 is a big number.
It's up for grabs.
That phrase is a free agent. And you know what? I think the New York Giants can cover that number. The Eagles, man, I'm very concerned for the Eagles because their superpower has been dominating the line of scrimmage, particularly on the offensive side of the ball. And with Saquon, you get to turn those 4.5 yards before contact to 40 yards after first contact. They don't have that luxury this year. Obviously, Mekhi Becton not being in the lineup, huge piece of that. Landon Dickerson got rolled up again. This guy's been
and hadn't been playing well.
He's got a bunch of circles on his lower half,
right,
in the training room. And then Lane Johnson was in there, but he's been in and out of the lineup. Steen is not Mekhi Becton, and if they don't get that run game figured out, the rest of the Philadelphia Eagles' issues will continue to grow and fester.
Stop listening to the wide receivers. Just stop it. Tell them to shut their mouths. They'll get the ball when they get the ball. They're running the ball with Barkley. That's what the Eagles need to do. That's what they will do this week.
On the Giants side, Pete, I remember you sitting here last week saying, yeah, but with Jackson Dart. Yeah, all the good stuff he did was early in the game, scripted plays. It's kind of the same thing that happened last week. Couple of drives, couple of touchdowns, and then a bunch of turnovers after that.
He's a young quarterback, and when a young quarterback plays, you're going to get good and you're going to get bad. What you're going to get good is the fact that he can get outside the pocket and run. What the bad part of that is he's taking off too soon. He's not allowing plays to develop. But he'll get to that. They turn the ball over way too many times. I think the Eagles go in there and turn them over again.
We knew that the Giants playing in New Orleans was going to be tough, regardless of who comes out from the other sideline. You play down there, it's a tough place to win. You turn the ball over that many times, the quarterback, the running back, the underthrows, and then the drop from Slayton. It wasn't meant to be. They got to come back and rally. And I think the toughness of these 2 rookie players in the backfield can carry them through. And obviously, we need to see more from that defensive front. You can't get no sacks against a second-year quarterback who hasn't won a football game. Okay, so Giants D-line, let's show up, help your boys out. 5
straight drives with turnovers for the Giants.
Well, one of them he just dropped it. Like, he was outside the pocket. Dart just dropped the ball.
Loaf of bread.
We do have issues with players just flat out dropping footballs.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
Let's go to the London game this week, 9:30 a.m. on Sunday. It's the Broncos coming off that huge win in Philadelphia against the Eagles, taking on a Jets team that, hey, we don't have any more unbeaten teams, but we do have a winless team in the New York Jets, the only winless team in football.
And right now they're terrible. And look, we thought going into the season it might be the Jets' offense that was terrible. They're actually running the ball on offense. They turned it over. They fumbled. Breece Hall fumbled. But the reality is The defense is terrible. We thought Aaron Glenn would go in there as a former Jets defensive cornerback who was tough, feisty, and played with an edge, would elevate that group. And what has happened? They're worse. They don't tackle. They're the worst tackling team in the NFL. They missed so many tackles. You saw at the end of the half last week, the rip off a run, Williams, and nobody tackles him. 3 or 4 guys bouncing off him turns into a touchdown at the end of the half. You can't do that. Bad tackling team. The Broncos are a good tackling team. They're actually really good on defense. And Bo Nix showed me something in the second half last week. We had been questioning a little bit what happened. Is it a sophomore slump? But in the second half against the Eagles, he came alive. I think he plays well here. I'll take the Broncos.
Look, man, the Broncos don't make offense easy for anybody. Any offense they play against is going to have a hard day at the office, and who's had the toughest day at the office? It's the New York Jets. I'm glad you brought up the defense for the Jets because that has been the floor for the Jets. Even if our offense stinks, we know we're going to tackle well, we're going to get after opposing passers, and we can get the football back. They haven't been able to do that.
0 takeaways.
It is
5 games.
It is brutal right now for the Jets. And for the Broncos, that was a statement win on the road. My question is, do they go from Philly straight across the pond? They don't go back west to go, or maybe go the entire way west?
They go that way.
Give me the Broncos.
Yeah. The Broncos are a good football team. They're tough. They got guys who can rush the passer, man. Benito's outstanding.
Looking like Von Miller out there.
They can get after the quarterback, and I think that's the biggest difference between these two teams. One plays defense, and one doesn't come close to playing defense. I mean, you watch it week in and week out, and you're like, what the hell happened to this Jets team? They're just so bad on defense.
It's a 7-point spread. This is going to be the 11th time there's a 7 or more point spread in an international game, and the favorites 8-2 against the spread in those previous 10 games. Hey, there's Kyle.
There he is.
They cut my head off.
Again.
They did.
I think it's because you're so much taller than Amanda. They got to figure out a way to get Amanda in.
I barely saw Amanda there.
They didn't want to see the toupee.
NFL Today Plus is Sundays at 10 a.m. Eastern Time with Kyle and the gang.
I love a good promo shot.
We've got a slate of 3 games on CBS at 1 o'clock Eastern Time Sunday. Browns and Steelers. The Browns have just traded Joe Flacco to the Bengals. Late breaking news here as we do this on Tuesday.
That's for real?
That's faux real.
Good for Joe Flacco.
To get out of Cleveland.
Well, now he's going to play.
And good for Dylan Gabriel.
Good for
now,
Jamar Chase. Good for T. Higgins.
Yeah. I mean, that's a good trade for the Bengals.
We'll get to the Bengals in just a second, but for the Browns angle on things, that means Dylan Gabriel is going to be the starter again, I guess, for the foreseeable future, and Shedeur Sanders is going to be the backup.
Well, and that's what you should do. You should find out what these young quarterbacks have. I think last week, Gabriel, the moment wasn't too big for him. I thought he did a nice job of handling it. Now, having said that, it's time to take the training wheels off. You can't find out what he is as a quarterback if you restrict him too much. And I know it was his first start. It was on the road against the Vikings. Tough defense. Flores throws a lot of different looks at you. And it's an international game to start. So everything was working against him. But you have to take the training wheels off. Let him throw the ball down the field. Let him be creative at times. Because if you don't, you're not going to know who he is going into next season when you have draft picks to try and get a quarterback if you need to find one. Or sit him down and let Sanders play at some point during the season. I think right now Gabriel needs to be the quarterback. He played well enough. It wasn't a big moment for him, and he handled himself well, but let him throw the ball down the field. And if he does, I think he can have success throwing the football.
These quarterbacks that aren't exactly giants, when I think about guys like Drew Brees and now Dylan Gabriel, obviously can barely see over the center.
Yeah, it was a rough look for Gabriel at the end of the game with Wentz towering over him.
But here's one thing I want to point out. If you go watch Dylan Gabriel, he plays like he's 6'5". He can play in the pocket, throw it over the middle of the football field. He doesn't have to stand on his tippy toes for whatever reason. He's very creative with his arm angles. He's able to make those throws that the shorter in stature guys can't make. Usually we see guys like Dylan Gabriel cut the field in half, sprint boot, naked, that kind of thing. They can run a pocket offense with this guy. And his experience in college lends himself to getting the football out. That's all you can ask for as an OC. It's going to be a good game. I got the Steelers, though.
I got the Browns with the points. And
hang on a second, because you always talk about back-to-back road games, back-to-back roadies. Yeah. They were across the pond last week, were the Browns. They waved off their bye week. They said, no, we don't want to.
It's a bus trip.
But it's a road game.
It's a bus trip. It's not getting on a plane, lugging yourself to the airport, flying there, getting off the plane, getting on a bus to go. This is a bus trip.
You should never take buses in the NFL. Okay.
From Cleveland to Pittsburgh, it's quicker.
I don't care if you're going from the Rams to the Chargers, buddy. If I get on a bus, I'm going to be pissed off.
Yeah. Well, and I think that matters. But also, the Steelers coming off a bye, by the way, which gives them a double advantage on that. And I'm
but you're still going Browns.
I'm going to Browns. I don't believe in the Steelers yet, and I love what I've seen from them so far.
Don't you have them 5th in your power rankings?
But again, I have to see more from that run game. I have to see more from that defensive front. And if they get back to being the Steelers, then I'll start believing in them. Rodgers is getting rid of the football quicker than any quarterback in the league, by the way. He is doing a good job of that. I just think the Browns are going to hang in the game. Pittsburgh will win the game. I think the Browns hang in it. And give me
All right,
points.
1 o'clock Eastern on CBS this Sunday. If you don't get that one, you might get Chargers, Dolphins. And the Chargers have dropped 2 straight after that 3-0 start, and their players are dropping like flies. Down 2 offensive linemen, their 2 best, and now down their top 2 running backs.
Being down those 2 O-linemen, being down Rashawn Slater early was really tough, and we talked about it. Then Joe Alt goes down, and Joe Alt has an opportunity to get back, but Justin Herbert, without those 2 guys, is under duress, and he is getting hit at a clip that is not sustainable. And so much of what we fell in love with this Chargers offense early in the season was the fact that they gave Justin Herbert the keys to the Ferrari. And they did so because they had protection on the edges. Justin Herbert can step up in the pocket by the edge rushers. Now they don't have that. Guys are winning inside. Guys are winning outside. The sky is falling a little bit for the Los Angeles Chargers. I love Herbert. So at the end of the day, I got the Dolphins in this one. Give me the Fins, okay?
Why?
Because it is hot down here, buddy.
Yeah. It's going to be it's a long trip for a team coming off a bad loss that's banged up. And so, look, Miami can't stop the run, but can the Chargers run it? And who's going to run it? And so that's the concern for me.
And they got some rushers for the Dolphins as well.
And by the way, Herbert threw for 166 yards last week. As bad as they were in that game, do you remember they had a roughing the punter penalty at the end of the half where they returned a punt for a touchdown? McConkey did. They roughed the punter. They went down and got a field goal to Washington Commanders, and the game flipped. It was done. They didn't do anything well the rest of the game. They couldn't stop the Commanders, and they didn't do anything on offense. I'm concerned about this Chargers team. 3 weeks ago, people, they're going to the Super Bowl, best team in the league. And now they lose that game last week, and they lost to the Giants the week before. And if they lose to Miami this week, we're going to say, what are they doing? They're chargering. They always do that. It always comes back to that. I'll take Miami as well at home in this spot.
Chargers now tied with the Broncos atop that AFC West division after blowing that 10-0 lead and giving up 27 unanswered to the Commanders. All right, the other 1 p.m. Eastern time game on CBS, it is Patriots and it is Saints. This one is in New Orleans. I feel like the Saints have been home every week this season. The Patriots, meantime, 3-2, best win of the season anybody's had at Buffalo. And Pete, it's their best start since Tom Brady was the quarterback there in 2019.
Mike Vrabel's a heck of a football coach. He has instilled the toughness in that team. The defense, they can cover on the back end. With those 2 corners, it gives them so many, actually 3 corners because Jones is playing well too. And when you can cover on the back end, you can also rush. And I think that's enabled them to be better on defense. On the other side of the ball, Drake May, he's arrived. Okay? Let's just say it. Drake May has arrived. He's a franchise quarterback. And what he can do, moving in the pocket, getting outside the pocket, making throws on the run, standing in and making throws, he can do all of it. And I think that game against Buffalo, he served notice to everybody out there. Look at me, I've arrived. And I think he really has. So I'm impressed with Drake May. I'm impressed with this team. Having said all that, tough turnaround coming off an emotional division win and going out on the road again against the team that's sitting at home for the 2nd straight week and won last week. I think the Saints aren't very good talent-wise, but they are. Kellen Moore has them playing tough, feisty football, and I think they're going to hang around in this game. I'll take the Saints.
Yeah, I got to give credit to Kellen Moore. That's a tough football team, and you can see by the way they play it. And I was watching some of the mic'd up stuff from that defense, and they had to swell up against that Giants team, and they did everything that they had to do to get the job done. But if I was to talk to you about the Patriots, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention 2 guys. Number 1, corner Christian Gonzalez.
Great.
When he's on the football field, it frees you up so much more in your rush games. You can cover their number 1, and you can truly say we're not worried about that sideline. You know what I'm saying? And on the offensive side of the ball, yes, Drake May has arrived, but Josh McDaniels' ability to get a ton out of his quarterbacks is showing with Drake May. And not only can Drake May be that guy in the pocket, but he's spoiled. Josh McDaniels is spoiled with the ability that Drake May has, and we're going to just see better iterations of what Josh McDaniels has to offer.
I'm glad you mentioned Josh McDaniels because he's evolved. His offense isn't the same as, the one thing about the Patriots, they got stale. Their offense was outdated. It became archaic. And in large part because they didn't change with the times. Well, he's changed with the times. And I give him a lot of credit because I'm glad you mentioned it because he's done a nice job with the different things he's doing than what they did maybe when Tom Brady was there.
All right. Again, best start since Tom Brady was there, 2019.
I got the Patriots. I forgot to pick them.
You like the Patriots?
Got the Patriots.
And Pete, you're going with the Saints, not to win, but to cover.
Cover.
Okay. Those are the 3 games. Early window on CBS.
Oh.
And we got some big ones at 4:25 Eastern as well because we do have the doubleheader. We'll pick 49ers and Bucks a little bit later. Other 1 p.m. games. And, boy, the Ravens, 7.5-point dogs at home after getting completely blown out last week. That Seahawks-Jags game has flipped. It was Seattle favored by 1.5. Jags win on Monday Night Football. Now they're favored. Colts have the 1 seed in the AFC right now. There's nearly a touchdown favorite against the Cardinals. And the Cowboys favored on the road at the Panthers. Let's start with that Ravens-Rams game. And a really surprising number out of Vegas that the Ravens, despite staring a 1-5 start right in the face, are still minus money favorites to win that division, Pete.
Schedule. Look at their schedule. The schedules. And we've talked about this. The schedules are going to basically is going to come down to the final week of the season against Pittsburgh. That's what that division's going to come down to that. If you look at the Ravens' schedule now, they have to get Lamar Jackson back, and without Lamar Jackson, those favorite numbers go out the window because they can't win with Cooper Rush. They just can't consistently win with him. So that's why this number is 7.5 right now. He's clearly not. They don't think he's playing, and if he doesn't play, it's tough sledding. But more than that, who the hell are these Ravens? They don't tackle, they don't hit, they don't block. Their calling cards have been the bullies. They've always been a bully. When you played the Ravens, you went home bloodied and battered that you felt it on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday the next week. Now they're getting bullied all over the place. They stink on defense. They're terrible. And they have guys injured. But even when those guys were playing, Roquan Smith, he wasn't playing like Roquan Smith. Marlon Humphrey wasn't playing like Marlon Humphrey. They don't have Matabiki in the middle of that defense. This defense is not good right now. The Rams can score. We saw they're one of the few teams in the league that drive the ball down the field. They throw throws in the middle of the field and take shots. Stafford's great at it. I think he goes in here, he puts up a number. I'll take the Rams.
And even if Lamar Jackson is healthy enough to be out there in the pocket making throws, he's not going to be able to play the Lamar Jackson style of football that we have come to know and love and appreciate, because we know that if he does take off, these hamstrings, they go again quick.
And if it goes for a long period of time, they're done.
So they're going to have to lean on the things that make this team different, and that's their running back, and that's a couple of these offensive linemen. You want to make the job easier for the offensive linemen and play keep away from Matt Stafford. Run the ball. I mean, just run.
They don't give him any carries.
Just run the ball. That seems to solve a lot of issues. And you talk about the defensive side of the ball. We can survive with one of the 3 levels of the defense having an issue. But if 2 levels of the defense have an issue, let alone 3 levels of the defense have an issue, we are in big trouble. And if you can't score points without your starting quarterback, you're in deeper trouble than that.
Yeah, give the ball to Derrick Henry. He's not getting any carries, in large part because they've fallen behind and they've kind of got away from it a little bit.
Oh, when they have, he has not run it well. Henry, 46 rushing attempts, 148 yards in his last 4 games. So you have the Rams not only winning but covering here.
Yes.
You said you had the Steelers winning. So that put the Steelers at 4-1, Ravens at 1-5, and you still think it's going to come down to the last week of the season?
Look at that Ravens.
Just based on
if
schedule.
Lamar's healthy, only if Lamar is healthy. If he's not on the field, they're just like Joe Burrow. If he's not on the field, they're done. You're finished.
All right. Let's move on to Seahawks and Jags. And I think a lot of minds were changed on Monday Night Football. You said it was the biggest Jags home game in 3 years since they were in the playoffs and fell behind 14 early to the Chiefs and a huge Trevor Lawrence moment late in that game.
Yeah, and it's a good sign that they rallied the way they did because, young teams arrive in moments like that. Young quarterbacks arrive at moments like that. And he's not a young quarterback per se.
He's only 26, though.
But he's been with 3 different systems and 3 different it's just been a disaster since he's been there. I don't think he's played his best football yet. I think that will come this week. I think what we saw with Seattle last week, Baker Mayfield carved them to shreds. But the flip side of that is I think Sam Darnold's going to carve Jacksonville to shreds. So what's going to happen in this game? It's going to get what?
Lose!
You're going to see a ton of points. I think both quarterbacks will play well. I think there will be a big number. But in the end, I think Jacksonville will win this game. That's a tough trip. And you talk about heat, going from Seattle down there to play in the heat.
Buddy.
That's brutal. It's also an early start, which is never a good thing, based on those Seattle time zones. So I think this is going to be a problem for Seattle.
When you do the loose thing, you guys both cross your eyes when you say
Loose!
I got the Jags too, man. They showed me something.
Is it going to get loose too?
And they should wear those same jerseys again.
Oh, yeah.
Man.
The Prowlers.
Reminded me of Tony Baselli in that thing.
Right? When they were actually good. That was a long time ago.
Hey, Seahawks are good, though. I was wrong.
They are good.
I apologize to the Seahawks fans on Sunday. It was cathartic to do that. I needed to get that out.
Yeah, their defense struggled because they had guys out, too. I mean, they didn't have the corner, Witherspoon, in there. They didn't have Love in there. And that when you can't play in the back end, they had a lot of busts in the back end against the Bucs.
That division's interesting. That division, well, both divisions are interesting, NFC West and the AFC South, because you've got the Jaguars at 4-1. You also have the Colts at 4-1. They win again with Daniel Jones, and they've got another winnable game here at home against the Cardinals. Pete.
Well, even if they're not winning, and the Cardinals, or they're winning, and the Cardinals are going to go in for the game-winning touchdown, somebody's going to drop it before they get into the end zone, and that just don't give it to DeMarcado. I mean, I can't believe these guys. What's the end game of that? I don't get it. I don't understand it. What are you doing? What's the point of it? Is that cool to drop it before you get into the end zone?
They didn't give me the ball, Pete.
Well,
I was mostly chasing the ball.
You caught one pass.
I got one
Kyle
pass.
showed us the one pass he caught in the NFL.
One catch, -1.5 yards, and a fumble.
And a lost fumble.
Yes.
Did you guys end up losing the game, too, because
Probably.
of that?
Wow. But, yeah, I just, look, the Cardinals, we always talk about how they play tough. They're in games. They hang around. And they've lost, 3 straight games on last-second field goals? Right?
Yeah.
3 straight games.
First team in NFL history to lose 3 straight games on game-losing field goals as time expires.
That's incredible, but that's who they are. They play tough. They play physical. They'll hang around in games.
Don't know how to finish.
They do not know how to finish, in large part because DeMarcado dropped the ball. That game's over if he doesn't do that. And then they get a pick and they give it up and it becomes a touchdown. Everything and anything that could have gone wrong in that game did.
It's because you picked them last week.
That's why. I think they're going to probably. I think they're going to go into Indy and hang around like they always do. Indy won't blow them out. So if you're going to give me that many points, I'm going to take Arizona. I do like the way Daniel Jones is playing. I do like the way that offense is playing. But I just think Arizona's going to hang around in the game. Give me the points.
I think the Colts can blow them out. I think if you look at the way the Colts have won, it's not necessarily just one field goal, one touchdown wins. I mean, you and I were going over the scores earlier.
Yeah.
They have throttled some football teams.
They played some bad football teams, too.
It's hard to throttle anybody in the National Football League.
They have played some
They've done it. I think they can do it again this week. Colts, especially after a tough internal week in the locker room in Arizona.
Colts have scored on 65% of their drives this season. That's the highest rate through 5 games since the greatest show on turf, Rams 2000. That's how long it's been. That's how good that team was.
So we're going to compare Daniel Jones to Kurt Warner.
Did.
Okay.
Just did.
Great.
What's up with that?
You're
not cool with that?
No. It's like one should be mentioned in one sentence and the other one should be mentioned like a couple
let's put the side-by-side up there. Put the side-by-side stats up. Maybe next week we'll get the side-by-side. Warner and
when he
Jones.
leads him to a Super Bowl this year.
He's playing good football. If he continues to play the way he's playing right now, the Colts can be a deep playoff team.
Well, they'd be the 1 seed in the AFC right now, believe it or not. Crazy, 5 weeks into the season. Let's go over to an NFC matchup at 1 o'clock Eastern time. It's the Cowboys and the Panthers. Oh, it's the Rico Dowdell championship game. Revenge game. Because he played for the Cowboys. He went over 200 yards on the ground last week for the Panthers.
You know what? I think you could rush for 200 against Miami. That's how bad they are on defense. They're so bad in the run game right now. But give them credit. They ran the ball, and they came back doing it. I mean, that's what they did. They were down 17-0. That's a good sign for Carolina. Bryce Young still hasn't played great football, but he was serviceable in that game. When you run for 200 yards, you're going to find a way to win that game usually. And they did. They rallied to win the game. I think this is a problem for him this week. That Dak Prescott is playing as well as any quarterback in the league right now. He was down 4 offensive linemen last week in that game and still put up a big number. Now, the Jets are terrible on defense, but Dak Prescott's playing at such a high level. It's an MVP level. He will go into Carolina and put up a big number.
How many games do the Cowboys have to win for him to actually have a chance to win MVP if he keeps doing that?
We keep talking about the Cowboys like they're in the dumpster fight. They're
They
2-2-1.
beat
right in it.
They're
Look,
2-2-1.
I'm a little disrespected as a Cowboys picker this week that the Cowboys are only minus 3.5 at the Panthers.
It's fishy.
I'll be honest, road games are tough, but you go to Carolina, it's not quite as tough.
And they're back-to-back road games.
But I'll say this, if you got a $100 million guard, you better run for 100 yards. If your quarterback's struggling, run the football.
Right.
That's how you solve things. Carolina figured that out last week. I got the Cowboys in this one. George Pickens playing like an all-pro. CeeDee Lamb not on the field. Dak Prescott still playing like an MVP. It reminds me of Mississippi State Dak Prescott. When you used to watch in the SEC, there were the Blue Bloods, and then you get to watch Dak. And Dak, I'd always be like, that's the guy right there. It's not the dude from Alabama. It's not the dude from Auburn, Georgia. That's the guy who I think has success. He's doing the same stuff in the National Football League. Throwing the ball great. He's a leader. Keeps that offense together. Love the Cowboys.
4th-round pick. By the way, he was on the better than team way back in the day.
Dak Prescott,
Yes,
better
he was.
than team
Yes,
for Pete
yes.
Prisco.
Yes, he
Okay.
was.
And he was good enough to get Mississippi State up to number 1 in the country, I think, at one
Dude.
point.
One other thing about the Cowboys real quick, 5 sacks last week. Guys are starting to show up a little bit. 5 sacks.
Defense, maybe not the worst in football anymore.
Yep.
Okay. Those are the 1 p.m. Eastern Time games on Sunday as we pick every game against the spread with Pete Prisco and Kyle Long, who've been doing a pretty good job the last few weeks. They agree on the Dolphins, plus 4.5 at home as the Chargers go cross-country into the heat of South Florida. Those games on CBS. And a 4-pack on Fox. It's Rams, the consensus play there, minus 7.5. Jags, minus 1.5 against the Seahawks. And the boys, minus 3.5 against the Panthers to get back over 500. All right, 4 o'clock Eastern. There's only one game at 4:05. It's Titans-Raiders. And we've got a couple on CBS. 49ers-Bucks is the headliner. These are 2 of the 4 NFC division leaders sitting at 4-1. And both of these teams, they got like a lucky rabbit's foot in their pocket because they've won 4 of those. All 4 of their wins have come with a score of fewer than 6 points. So they're winning tight games as well, Pete. This is a spread of 3. It's in Tampa. And it's Mac Jones.
Baker Mayfield's the MVP.
Quarterback scales?
Baker Mayfield's the MVP right now. Quarterback scales, boom. It's easily Baker Mayfield. It's not even close. Look, Mac Jones did some really good things last week. They schemed it up. His average yard per target, I think, was 4 yards, air yards. He didn't throw the ball down the field, but Kyle Shanahan made him look good in that game, and he did a good job. Kudos to him. Can he do it again? That's the question. I don't know if he can. We know Baker can. Baker Mayfield's playing at an unreal level right now. The game he had last week at Seattle was phenomenal. I mean, when you compare quarterback games this year in the NFL, that's the best one. I mean, he lit them up, threw for over 385 yards. His completion percentage was over 85%. The numbers were outstanding, but when you watched it, moving around in the pocket, keeping his head up, making throws down the field, he was outstanding. The scary thing about the Bucs, we haven't even seen the best of their offense yet. No Mike Evans, no Jalen McMillan, no Malk at right guard, no Gedeke at right tackle, no Bucky Irvin last week. We haven't seen the best of it. He's carrying this team right now, and I think he will continue to carry it. The one problem with the 49ers, they do not rush the passer that well. And if you don't rush Baker Mayfield that well, he's going to carve you to shreds. I'll take the Bucs.
100%. I mean, and it kind of begs the question, is San Francisco going to try to make a move to be able to get somebody in that building who can rush the passer? I'm sure you'll talk about that later with Noah. Right there.
Who should they make a move for?
Well, there's a number of pass rushers who are on teams that aren't going to necessarily be in the playoffs or have a shot at this thing. Now, I'm not in the numbers department upstairs, but if I'm John Lynch, if I'm one of these guys who's in charge in San Francisco, I'm banging on the table for one of these guys. I'm saying, our team has won some games that the experts said we weren't going to win. Let's find a way to strengthen our weakness, which right now is the pass rush. And to your point, if Baker Mayfield's got time, even with that lackluster backup group in there at the offensive line position, Baker should be able to roll.
Call somebody like Miami and see if one of those veteran pass rushers is available. That's a possibility as well, because they're going in the toilet.
They've already gone in the toilet, haven't they?
But we picked the Dolphins this week.
You buried the Dolphins a couple of weeks ago.
Well, yeah. Well, they're not going anywhere, but they're going to win this week.
All right, so that's on CBS at 4:25 Eastern. If you don't get that, you'll get Bengals and Packers, and you'll get potentially a new quarterback for the Bengals. They traded for Joe Flacco. I don't know if he is. I mean, he's got the mind, he's got the experience. Do you think he plays already this week against the Packers?
I think it's one of those games where they say, okay, Jake, you've been here for a while. You've been a good backup quarterback.
Been a good boy.
Yeah, you go out and start the game, and then we'll play Joe Flacco next week. That's what I think will happen. I don't know if that's necessarily the case. I wouldn't do it. I'd play Joe Flacco if he got up to snuff on the offense.
Go play street ball.
Right. I'd let him play. But the Packers are coming off a bye. Remember the last time out? They were terrible on defense. Awful against the Cowboys. It was a bad showing. That will change here. They'll get back to playing really good defense. I think Love in the offense will get it going. I know this is an enormous number, but if Jake Browning's clearly playing quarterback, that's going to be a problem. The other part of it is if Flacco's playing quarterback, he doesn't exactly move that well. I think they can get after him a little bit too. So I think Parsons shows up big in this game. I'll take the Packers.
The Packers at home, 14.5.
That's an enormous number.
I got great.
Yeah, the Bills.
The Packers at home, 14.5, like he was going to take the Bengals.
Dude, the Bengals are just like getting beat up every week. And
Well, they've lost by an average of 25 a game with Brown.
You don't have it. This is a football team where even when they had Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Trey Hendrickson, they weren't in the playoffs. And we were like, everything is kind of in the balance on whether Joe's in the lineup. Joe goes out of the lineup. This team has showed what the roster looks like and what the gentleman by the name of Duke Tobin has installed in this locker room in terms of dudes. And you line up against the Packers this week, you're going to see what a group of dudes looks like. And I like the Packers here. I hate the Packers, but I love them in this one.
No, you were doing Lambeau Leap.
You converted.
I did the Lambeau Leap so I could conquer the. I beat them at their own little game.
Yeah, look, Jake Browning is who he is. He's a backup quarterback in the NFL. It's okay. It's a great life, but you're not a starting quarterback in the NFL. And people say I'm too hard on him. Leger said I could take up to the playoffs. He was 4-3. No, you can't. You are who you are in this league. And look, all these backup quarterbacks who go in, I say it all the time, Chris. It's like the scale. You start here. They might have a couple games where they're here. They might have a couple games where they're here. But eventually, it all gets right to here.
Yeah, but that's what you said about Sam Darnold. Now he's in Seattle dominating. That's what they said about Baker Mayfield when they ran him out of the stadium in Cleveland and Carolina. He went to Los Angeles for a tryout.
We have a lot of football left.
Okay.
For that to all even out because you are what you are.
Okay.
Yeah, you are.
This would be tied for the largest spread of the week, of the year, I should say. That Bills-Saints game closed at 14.5 at kickoff. The Bills did not cover that, so we'll see if the Packers do. And you guys are you both on
Packers?
Both on the Packers?
Yeah.
Go Pack go.
Goodness gracious. Okay, let's move on to Titans-Raiders. Raiders have lost 4 straight. Brock Bowers is banged up week to week, PCL thing.
He's
Didn't
been
play
banged
last
up
week.
since the beginning.
Titans got their mojo back.
I wouldn't go that far. But Geno Smith is proven the theory again. I mean, Geno
9
Smith,
picks already.
He's playing terrible football right now, and when you look at it, he's turning it over. He's not making good throws. He doesn't look comfortable. And if Geno Smith can't, and I know he doesn't have all his weapons because Bowers is banged up, and they just don't look right on offense. But they're not good on defense either. I mean, this is not a good defensive team. Having said that, the Titans are playing consecutive road games. They got a gift last week, no matter what anybody says. They got a gift. They'll take it. You get
got a couple of gifts.
Well, the win is a gift. I mean, they gave it to them. I think this is a tougher spot for them. I think the Raiders will play better. I'll take the Raiders.
They get the benefit of playing at home. They're playing against a rookie quarterback who's going to be dealing with crowd noise and communicating with his front. That's a big deal. And the other thing is, look, the interior offensive line for the Raiders has been well below average. And when people are asking questions about why their running back, why their running game is not working, well, number one, the best player on the field, Brock Bowers, is in a donjoy. So he can barely get in and out of his breaks. But you got nowhere for this guy Genti to run. And what you want for a young player, particularly a running back, is to show him that what we're telling you to do is the right thing and it will be there. It's up to you to finish these runs. it's not been there for him. It hasn't been in front of him. There have been no lanes. And when you're disjointed as an offensive line, you're disjointed as an offense. In the National Football League, if you have a disjointed offense, you stand no chance. But they're at home, and they're playing against a group that seems to be a little bit more disjointed than them. Give me the Raiders.
And plus, Max Crosby can wreck a game.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, nobody else on that the defense isn't very good, but Max Crosby's great, and he can wreck a game by himself.
Okay, those are the late afternoon games on Sunday. A couple of those on CBS at 4:25, and you guys agree on all of them.
Hey, buddy.
Yeah, that means they're all right. Or all wrong.
I don't know. The way you guys have been picking lately, pretty good. Pretty good. All right. Oh, this is the game of the week here, isn't it? Or at least one of them. Lions Chiefs. Lions up to number 1 in Pete Prisco's power rankings.
They are.
He ain't wrong.
Chiefs are down in the teens. Chiefs coming off the loss at Jacksonville. They're under 500. Lions have won 4 straight. But the Chiefs are favored. They are at home. This is a game that could get loose.
No, it
52
will.
and a half.
It will.
52 and a half is the spread. What are we thinking here? You said this might be a must-win for the Chiefs?
I think you can't, in that division, with those teams in that division, with the Broncos and the Chargers, if the Chargers show up this week, but you can't fall to, 2 and 4. You just can't. It can't happen for them. So I think they have to win this game. I think they will win this game. I'm worried about the Lions defense. Oof. I mean, they're banged up across the board. And when you don't have your corners against Patrick Mahomes, now you get Worthy going, you got Brown going. That passing game can get the ball out quickly. The offensive line, you mentioned it. They struggled early in the season. The last couple of weeks, they've been really good. I think they're going to be able to protect. They'll keep Hutchinson off of him. He'll be able to make plays. But the flip side of that is, and we talked about the Chiefs' defense, they haven't been great either. The Lions' offense is fantastic. You're going to see a lot of points. But I think desperation's at play here. I really do. And I think being at home in their stadium with the desperate mode, I think they find a way to win the game.
I think it was the Lions that went to Arrowhead week 1 2 years ago and
Correct.
beat them. I picked the Ravens when the Ravens were in Kansas City, and they've been killing me on social media ever since. And because of that, I'm going to go with the Detroit Lions.
Wow.
You're giving in to the mob?
I'm going to do it. Detroit Lions.
So the former Bear, the former Bear is now a Lions and Packer fan.
I'm a football
And he hates
fan.
the Chiefs, his former team. What are we doing?
I don't hate the Chiefs.
What are we doing here?
I don't hate the Chiefs at all. You said the Lions are the number 1 team in your power ranking,
right.
And I strong agree with you. And regardless of what the name of the team the Lions are at, I'm going to pick the Lions.
Are you worried about their secondary with Arnold's down now? And
I have more concerns about the Chiefs defense than I do about the Lions secondary because of the fact that I know the Lions can play any style of football on the ground, through the air.
Did you hear him defending Chris Jones for that last play earlier
when
today?
he was standing around doing nothing?
Yeah, Kyle
What'd
had
I say?
a whole viral segment on defending Chris Jones.
No, you didn't.
It didn't go viral, did it?
Oh, it's gonna. Yeah.
Look, Chris Jones thought that Trevor Lawrence got tackled, and then he went down again, and he was like, "Oh, he definitely got tackled."
No, I think he thought he was back in college again.
He did, one knee down.
He's down. Oh, he's down.
Yeah,
Hey,
the
Chris,
holy roller.
that ain't the way it works in the
Yeah.
NFL. Look, I think this game is going to get loose, by the way. Really loose.
Oh yeah,
You agree?
yeah.
Yeah.
Both the defenses are the areas of concern for these football teams.
Yeah.
But to your point, the Lions are the number 1 team in the power ranking. It has nothing to do with the Kansas City Chiefs and everything to do with John Morton, with Hank Fraley, with Dan Campbell, with Jared Goff, Amon-Ra St. Brown, David Montgomery, Jahmyr Gibbs, Jamison Williams, the interior offensive line, guys like Taylor Decker who have been there for a decade, guys like Penei Sewell ready to go kick some ass in primetime. I just like this team. Hit me in my mentions if you want, but that's what a football team looks like, the Detroit Lions.
By the way, Jared Goff in the MVP conversation.
Has to be, right? Has to be up there.
Absolutely.
Right now, Josh Allen is still the favorite to win MVP. We will pick a Bills game coming up in just a second. So, Pete, you're not going to be able to watch this game because you've got game day recap on Sunday night.
We have the game on when we're in there.
You got that's where your lazy eye comes in handy because you can watch one TV with the lazy eye.
Robbing Peter to pay Paul.
You know what it is? It's where ADD comes in really.
There you go.
And I'm good at that.
Game day
That's a
recap.
superpower. Yeah, it
So you
really
talk
is.
about going viral. You guys doing a great job there on Game Day Recap, pumping out all kinds of content for social media every Sunday night, 8:20 Eastern
Ruben
time.
loves it.
Ruben, our social guy. Woo-hoo-hoo.
I heard
That's
Sauce Gardner
why he's a
hasn't
VP
gotten any
now.
better since he got in the league. That's what I heard from the show on Sunday.
All right, we mentioned the Bills.
That wasn't my take.
Josh Allen, still the MVP favorite, despite the fact that the Bills just lost for the first time this season at home against the Patriots. They are at the Falcons. It's a
This
Monday
one.
night double dipper. because we also have the Bears and Commanders an hour later.
Big time storyline there.
Yeah, I'm thinking back to last year on that one. Let's start with the Bills and Falcons. And the Falcons coming off a bye, and right before that, Pete, it was Michael Penix's best game as a pro when they beat the Commanders.
He looked really good in that game and looked comfortable. Remember, the week before he was dreadful. So we don't know really who he is. I'm a little concerned about Buffalo's defense. They have guys still in and out of the lineup. They haven't looked comfortable altogether on defense yet. So people have run the ball on them a little bit. Bijan Robinson might be able to run the ball on him, take the pressure off of Michael Penix. But I think this is a game for Josh Allen. I think the Bills have held back a little bit on what they are offensively with Josh Allen. I know they want to spread the ball around and run the football, but I think at some point they have to turn him loose. Let him throw the ball down the field, take some big-time shots, and when he gets outside the pocket, run. Become the backyard guy again. And I think he will in this game. I'll take Buffalo.
Buffalo. I love their offense. I love their offensive line. They didn't have a great showing this past game against the New England Patriots. And I think
they did not.
They are going to be men on a mission, and they're going to take it out on this Atlanta Falcons defensive front. A couple of young guys there for Atlanta. Look, I like Michael Penix Jr. I love me some Josh Allen. Give me the Bills.
Is that just a one-off that they lost the turnover battle and lost the game after 26 straight where they didn't lose the turnover
there's
battle?
There's some concerns there. I mean, you let Diggs go do what he did. That there's some concerns in the secondary. They need Hairston, their first-round pick, back. And when he gets back, he'll be the starter, and he gives them a little more juice, a little more speed at the corner position.
All right, so that is the first Monday night game, 7:15 Eastern. Mentioned it's a double dipper, not a doubleheader, because the second game is at 8:15 Eastern time. Kyle, this is... for Bears fans, this is bringing back some bad memories.
Hey, look, man, we've been waiting around for a year, since the Fail Mary. And our guy, Caleb Williams, has come a long way. We know what Jaden Daniels is. He's a superstar. He's a megastar. We all watched it last year time and time again. But they're getting better in Chicago. They have to find a way. Dennis Allen's got to find a way to confuse this offense a little bit for Washington, because if Jaden's comfortable, if Bill is comfortable, if all these guys are healthy, that's a dangerous offense. Dennis Allen needs to have the eyeballs stressed a little bit pre-snap, and I think that Ben Johnson and the offense will have a good game plan. Give me the Bears in this one. I love the Bears.
Bears to win?
The Bears to win?
On the road.
To win?
Yep.
Wow.
That would be their first 3-game winning streak in 5 years.
Yep. You got to do things that you haven't done before to become somebody you aren't.
I mean, the Bears are better.
Or something like that.
The Bears are better. Caleb Williams is better. I think the offense looks better. I don't love the defense.
Which is why you got to be multiple.
And what I saw from Jaden Daniels last week was impressive to me in large part because he came into the game still banged up. He was coming off an injury. And we didn't know what he would do if he couldn't run the same way or if he couldn't get outside the pocket. And I thought in the second half he was outstanding. And I think that will carry over here. I think they're going to have success throwing it. I thought he was the better of the two quarterbacks going into the draft. So far, he's been the better of two quarterbacks. I know this is a big moment for Caleb Williams, but I'm going to go with Jaden Daniels and the Commanders in this one to win it.
The Bears
He's a homer.
Since 2014, so it's going to go back to Kyle here.
2014, not a great year for the Bears.
Bears are 1-10 after the bye week since 2014.
New coach, though.
And Kyle's not there anymore.
Yeah.
New coach. Got a new coach.
New team.
Do you think those numbers are relevant? I mean, if they got a whole new staff, no.
Nope. It's just interesting, and Kyle was a part of several.
2014,
of those teams.
I had hair on my head. None of that matters,
Did you?
Chris. No shot.
No, you did.
All right, here are the picks for the prime time and international games. That Broncos-Jets game is the London game Sunday at 9:30 a.m.
What day of the week was that?
Sunday.
Sunday.
Denver was the play on that one. Denver -7 against the Jets. They agree on Bills -3.5 against the Falcons. And that's it for the international games. It is time for best bets. And Pete.
That's terrible.
And Chris are over 500. Kyle and the producers bringing up the rear.
So that weird one was a loser last week, huh?
The producers are really stretching. I don't know what their pick is this week.
What was the pick last week? It was some bizarre out there pick.
2 weeks ago, it was a running back over receiving yards.
Oh, that's right.
total.
The Titans. He was in there begging for
Last year it was a Titans
No, it was
first
Titans
half.
team total over, and he was begging.
You guys
for
are
the field
big
goal.
weird.
He was begging for the field goal in the green room. Give me the field goal because it would have put it
And
over.
instead they went for it on
They
4th
went
and
for it
10.
on fourth down. I don't know why he didn't kick
The
there.
team total was 7.5 in the first half for the Titans. They did not get there. All right, Pete, you've got the best record in the business
We're
right
tied,
now.
We're tied with you.
Well, overall,
Yeah.
you're great. You're 9 games over 500. What's your best bet this week?
I smell desperation in Kansas City, and I love when teams are desperate. They rise up. Everybody plays hard. They don't stand around on key plays watching it. They play tougher, harder football, and I think the Chiefs are going to rise up to it. Plus, the Lions are so banged up on defense. I'm going to take the Chiefs, my best bet.
It's going to be loosey-goosey, ain't it?
It's going to be fun.
That'll be a lot of fun to watch.
will.
You know what else is going to be fun to watch? Aaron Rodgers handling business. Steelers -5.5 versus the Cleveland Browns. I like Aaron Rodgers.
He's playing good football.
And we haven't been talking about him a lot because they've been playing good football.
Right, he's played really well.
So let's whisper this.
Yeah, and they were over in London, and they had a bye week, and there they are with a 2.5 game lead already on the Baltimore Ravens. Might be more after this week. So Steelers -5.5 against the Browns. I'm going to go with a favorite as well. This might spell doom, but you said it earlier. You're like, what? How are the Cowboys only 3.5-point favorites against the Panthers?
Crazy.
And maybe we're getting fish hooked.
It's crazy
Maybe.
that I didn't pick that as my best bet.
Yeah, Cowboys can score a ton of points. I don't know that the Panthers are going to be able to stay with it.
By the way,
Panthers may run for 200 again, though.
by the way, we're all on that. So,
Yeah,
you know,
but
that's-
it's happened. It's happened many times,
Yeah.
and we're both above 500 in best bets. Okay. So Cowboys -3.5 against Carolina. Producer's pick. This is a kicking prop.
Get it out of here.
What do we do? First off, we should never have kickers involved in anything, not even in the games.
I'm kidding. It's not. It is Saints +3.5 at home against the Patriots.
I like that one.
Yeah.
I like that one.
Superdome.
I'm on board with that.
You said Patriots real high off that win in Buffalo.
You know, you played. It's
Back-to-back
hard to be
road
high.
games.
It's hard to be high after a big division game. Come back and be high again.
It's tough to stay high.
Yep.
They got to Charlie Sheen it up a little bit.
If you haven't watched the doc, I highly recommend it. It's pretty darn good.
Winning.
I'm winning here, I'm winning there.
I'm winning.
Producer, the only one on an underdog this week, though Pete's pretty close to a pick in there with Chiefs. Kyle likes the Steelers.
We're
I
gonna
like
get
the
fired.
Cowboys.
Well, you said it.
Saints,
Don't lump me in.
You wanted the comparison, Pete. You said don't ever use
this is
Daniel
great.
Jones' name in the same sentence as Kurt Warner. This is a comparison to the 2000 Greatest Show on Turf team. Now, Kurt Warner's Rams were unbeaten, but look at the completion percentage, real close. Passing yards, not so much. Total touchdowns, not so much. But look, Daniel Jones only 2 interceptions. Kurt Warner threw 7 picks in those 5
That's
games.
because nobody. Look at the yardage.
All he
numbers.
was doing was dumping it off to Marshall Faulk.
No, he wasn't. He was throwing a ball down the field.
There he is. Look at him. 29 receptions in 5 games for 384. And look at Jonathan Taylor,
check down
running back
Charlie.
scales. Jonathan Taylor, Marshall Faulk.
Oh, come on.
Oh,
No, it's Marshall Faulk. It's one of the great running backs this league has ever seen.
played at
Huh?
San Diego State.
Yeah, he played at San Diego.
He's an
First
Aztec.
visit.
Yeah. He's one of the great running backs this league has ever seen. No question about
Jonathan
it.
Taylor
And
might
by the
be.
way, after games, sometimes if you go interview him,
Yeah.
he wouldn't turn around.
Yeah, I heard he wasn't great with the media.
No, he'd
back
stand with his back to the media.
Yeah.
It was weird.
Excuse me, sir.
No, he'd answer the questions that way. Really?
Oh, Pete and his old media skills.
I wouldn't talk to you either.
It wasn't just me.
Again, it's one of those weeks where we have 2 Monday night games, we have a London game, and only 2 teams on the bye. So we'll get a few more games in that 1 o'clock window this week. For Pete Prisco and Kyle Long, I'm Chris Hassel. Thanks for following along. And if you were playing the brand new Kyle Long touching ear drinking game,
48.
I think you're on 4 drinks.
And if you're the guy who sent that nasty email that you sent, that nasty comment
Pete
about
had
me,
an all-time comment.
you know what? You can put it where the sun don't shine.
It was an all-timer.
It was great. Look,
in the
I
YouTube comments
love the
last week.
comments. I love the fans out there. If you love me, great. If you hate me, great.
Great.
Just don't put me right down the middle.
Yeah, I think he likes it more when you hate him. Thanks for watching, everybody, and commenting.